All right, thank God for fantasy football season. I'm Buster Brown, and the show, it's called Redemption Rehab. And if you tuned in today, it's because you want to do one thing, and that's start winning money in fantasy football. Today, we're talking about my top picks in daily fantasy football that'll help you get the job done. So let's head over to the chalkboard
and check out the facts.
All right, here we are back in week 6 of the NFL season. And today, we're talking daily fantasy sports. We're going to try to help you win some money. We're going to try to show you the facts behind everything we do so that gives you a better chance week in and week out to win money. Whether it's in a tournament, which is very difficult to do, or do what I do regularly, which is win money on their 50-50 propositions, meaning all you got to do is finish in the top 50% of the people that joined that league and you double your money. That's where I win money, but we're going to go in here and we're going to try to help you win some money today. So let's hit the chalkboard and check out the facts. Okay, so what you have here is a line on the games coming up this weekend in week 6. Why is this important in daily fantasy football? Because the over-under right here tells me the amount of points that are possibly being scored in that game. But I like the over-unders. You can see here the Texans-Chiefs game right here. It's 55.5. So I like to get players in those games that have the most points that can possibly be scored. And the bookies are telling you right here that the Texans-Chiefs game will have a total of 55 points scored. You go down here, the Falcons-Cardinals. This is going to be another high-scoring game, possibly 51 or 52 points. The Rams and 49ers will also be a high-scoring game. In daily fantasy football, you want to try to get players in games that are high-scoring because that gives you a better chance to score more points. If you get games such as this one here, where the Titans and the Broncos, they're only supposed to score a total of 20 points each. That's a total of 40 points, somewhere in that area. That means you're not getting a lot of touchdowns. So games like that, I try to avoid. Sometimes there's too good of a matchup for a single player, and he's a good player, so I'll go ahead and take him. Maybe his money's right, and I just have to fit a good player into that slot. But as far as a general rule, I try to stick to games like this one, the Rams 49ers, 50-point total, Falcons Cardinals, 52-point total. You know, the Chiefs Texans, if I can afford some of these players, is 55. But you'll find good players in all games. I just try to avoid the lower scoring games like the Titans and the Broncos, you know, the Redskins and the Dolphins. Just doesn't make sense to invest a lot of money in these players in these games because of the total points. And I'd like to big shout out to the site that's going to help us today. We're using 2 sites today, and one of them is rtsports.com. I've been using these guys for over 20 years for my local leagues and for my online leagues, and they do a lot of other things. But RT Sports, you should check them out, especially if you want to do daily fantasy football, because they do that also. So let's head over to the chalkboard and check out some more facts that'll help you win some money in week 6 of the NFL season. Okay, here we are, back on one of my favorite websites, rtsports.com. And what page I'm on here is a weekly ranking of all the players, whether it's quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and if you go down to the bottom here, you'll see that they also rank defenses, kickers, and tight end. But right now, we're talking quarterbacks. We showed you the over-unders on some of the games, and as you can see, Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson are going to probably be your top quarterbacks, but they're also going to be your most expensive when we go to FanDuel. We're going to check that out. But I want to show you the rankings of quarterbacks before we pick our quarterback. What I try to do is I go to this site, rtsports.com. You may have to sign up or even log in, and they'll give you these rankings. You may have to join, but they'll give you rankings, and I always try to get quarterbacks from in the top 10. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to get a top 10 quarterback for the least amount of money, so I have money to spend on other position players. Let's go over to FanDuel and take a look at some of the prices of these top 10 quarterbacks to see which one we could fit in for week 6 of the NFL season. Okay, here we are on FanDuel taking a look at some of the quarterbacks you should be considering in week 6 in daily fantasy football. As you can see, some of your highest priced quarterbacks, starting with Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, Lamar Jackson, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, Dak Prescott. They were all in the top 10 on RT Sports top 10 quarterbacks. But go over here and look at some of these prices. It's going to be hard to afford any of these guys and get quality players. So what quarterback can we get that's in the top 10? Okay, here we are. We found a quarterback that's in our top 10, Gardner Minshew. He's playing for Jacksonville, 1 o'clock on Sunday against New Orleans. He fits our top 10 criteria. He's going up against another criteria that we want. We want somebody going up against a weak opponent. Right here, where it says 30th ranked opponent, that means New Orleans Saints is the 30th ranked opponent against quarterbacks. At $6,900, if we take Gardner Minshew and we put him on our team, we only have to get about 18 points out of him. We're trying to get 3 times this number here, the 6, to make this guy worth our pick. And if you go back and you look, is he in our top 10? There he is. He's right here at number 10 on RT Sports. So we've accomplished everything we want in our quarterback. We got him cheap. We got him in the top 10. He's going up against the 30th ranked defense, and the price is right at $6,900. So we need about 21 points. When we come back, we're going to do the same thing and try to get you 2 running backs that'll meet that same criteria. Okay, here we are looking at running backs that meet the criteria we want to put on in our lineup on FanDuel. We're looking at these 10 players right here. Any of these 10 players that's highlighted here as I go up are the players that we want on our team. But it depends on the price. So let's go over and take a look at why we like certain players. Okay, here we are back on FanDuel looking at our top 10 running backs according to rtsports.com. And any of these guys that you see over here, Ezekiel Elliott, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, Nick Chubb, Mark Ingram, Leonard Fournette, are all in the top 10. And we have to take a look at price. As you can see, they're all really expensive. But there's a couple on here that meet our criteria as far as opponent rank. Alvin Kamara is going up against Jacksonville, who's the 27th ranked opponent against the run. So I can highly suggest you can use Alvin Kamara in your lineup. He's expensive, but let me suggest another couple running backs that are cheaper, that have the same criteria, going up against weaker defenses against running backs that actually have a cheaper price than Alvin Kamara if he's too expensive for you. Right here, you can see Mark Ingram plays Cincinnati at 1 o'clock on Sunday. He goes up against the 31st ranked defense against the run in Cincinnati, and he's $7,500. So I highly suggest you take Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara, and my third guy, which is right here, Aaron Jones. He plays for the Green Bay Packers against Detroit on Monday night at 8:15. He goes up against the 29th ranked defense against the run. He had a huge week against Dallas, scored almost 50 points with 4 touchdowns and over 100 yards rushing. Don't expect that this week. Probably going to get you a touchdown, but we need 21 points out of him. 3 times the 7 on the 7,000. That's my criteria. I think he averages about that right here, as you can see, about 21 points. So any of these 3 running backs, whether it's Alvin Kamara, Mark Ingram, or Aaron Jones. Let me give you some sleeper running backs that might help you this week if these guys are too high a price for you to pay. Okay, here we are back looking at some running backs that can help you this week that are some really deep sleepers. If you choose these guys, you do it at a high risk because there's a good chance they're not going to do well, but they do have great matchups and they might get a chance to help you win some money. First one is Adrian Peterson. Adrian Peterson's playing on a terrible Washington offense. He's only averaging 5 points a week. But guess what? He's going up against the 32nd ranked Miami defense. They just switched coaches this week, and the new coach said he wants to run the ball. So keep an eye on Adrian Peterson. He's only 5,300, and his backup is Wendell Smallwood. Don't be surprised if you see him get some action this week too. That's Wendell Smallwood. Another guy I really like is Chase Edmonds. He's the backup to David Johnson down in Arizona. He plays against a weak Atlanta defense that likes to give up a lot of yards to running backs. He's only averaging 5 points a week, and the opponent rank is kind of high, but it's 5,200, and I'm hearing out of Arizona that David Johnson's questionable with a back injury, and he might miss some time. So keep an eye on those two this Sunday. I would check the injury report before I put Chase Edmonds on my roster, but if for some reason you hear David Johnson isn't playing at 4 o'clock, I would definitely put Chase Edmonds in my lineup as a deep sleeper. Another running back that I think might help you this week, and it has to do with injuries, is Malcolm Brown of the Los Angeles Rams. He goes up against the number 1 ranked defense against the run, but I'm hearing that Todd Gurley might not play this week. He's only $4,800, so keep an eye on the injury situation in Los Angeles Sunday around 4. If you hear that Todd Gurley's not going to play, you want to get Malcolm Brown into your lineup. Let's go check out some wide receivers that can help you in week 6 of the NFL season to win some cash on FanDuel. Okay, here we are back on RT Sports looking at the top 10 wide receivers for week 6 in the NFL season. I should remind you that we did not include any games that were not in this tournament or in this 50-50 proposition. They were the New England Patriots New York Giants game, which went off the night before this video was made, and the Carolina Tampa Bay game is too early in the day on Sunday to make this tournament. Those players are not included. So let's take a look at some of the top 10 wide receivers. Clearly you can go with any of these guys, whether it's DeAndre Hopkins, Michael Thomas, Amari Cooper, Cooper Kupp, Julio Jones, Keenan Allen, DJ Chark, Allen Thielen, or even Mike Evans. Some of these guys aren't in our tournament, so you can eliminate those guys right now, like the Tampa Bay guys and the Carolina guys. They're just not playing in our tournament. But there are some guys we do like. So keep an eye on some of these guys. Let's head over to FanDuel and see if we can get any of these top 10 guys into our lineup underneath the salary cap to give us our best chance to win. Okay, here we are back on FanDuel, and you can see all those guys in RT Sports top 10 are exactly here, every one of them. Julio Jones on down. That's the tough part about getting all these guys into your lineup. But the one guy I can fit into my lineup and keep them under, because I want all these guys. I mean, I want all of them. They're all going to do well, but we're trying to meet all of our criteria. So let's go down here. You can definitely go with Amari Cooper right here. He meets all our criteria. He's playing against the Jets, who are a weak opponent on defense. He's averaging clearly close to 20 points a week, 22nd ranked defense against wide receiver in the Jets, and his salary is $8,100. He is dealing with an injury, so because of that injury, you can see over here, questionable with an ankle, I'm going to pass. I got to have people that I know are going to play and play well. So let's go down and take a look at our next player, which is Keenan Allen of the San Diego Chargers. If you take a look at Keenan Allen here, he plays on Sunday night against the 19th ranked opponent in the Pittsburgh Steelers against the pass, and he's a reasonable $7,300. I think I got to consider him definitely because he meets all my criteria and he's going to have a big game. Let me give you another guy I really like, and that's Adam Thielen. Adam Thielen, as it says here, missed some practice time on Wednesday and possibly Thursday. He's legitimately sick, so it is a little bit of a risk. It's nothing like an injury, but he's under the weather. It happens this time of the year, especially where it's cold in Minnesota, and he's got the flu. but I think he'll be okay on Sunday at 1 o'clock against a weak 28th ranked Eagles secondary. And he's only $7,200. He's had a couple big games this year. He was complaining about getting the ball. I could definitely recommend him, but I'd keep an eye on that illness. If he's not practicing on all week, I'd probably find somebody else. But let me give you a guy I've been high on all year, and he's going to have a big week this week. And that's Cooper Kupp of the Los Angeles Rams. If you could fit him into your lineup, that'd be huge. He's going up against the 8th ranked defense in the San Francisco 49ers, and he's $7,800, but he's averaging 20 points, nearly 20 points a week. And with the injury to Cook, the other wide receiver, he may get a lot more catches and a lot more opportunities to score. He kind of doesn't fit our 8th ranked criteria, and the price is a little bit high, so it's hard for me to get him in here. But let me give you my last guy that I plan on putting in my lineup this week because he has a great matchup. The next guy I'd like to mention is DJ Chark of the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's going up against the New Orleans Saints at 1 o'clock on Sunday. He's going up against the 27th ranked pass defense, and he's only $6,500. Now, if Marshawn Lattimore of the New Orleans Saints is going to be covering him, he's probably not going to do well, but I'm pretty sure he won't be. I think he's going to be guarding D.D. Westbrook most of the day, and DJ Chark's going to get Eli Apple on him, and Eli Apple, not the cornerback, he came out of Ohio State, and I'll tell you what, I think he's going to get beat for a long touchdown. So I can definitely recommend DJ Chark. Let me give you some deep sleepers that may pan out and have a chance to in week 6. A couple guys you want to keep your eye on, and I'm not a big fan of his, never have been, but Devontae Parker from Miami Dolphins is playing against Washington on Sunday at 1. He's going up against an awful Washington secondary, the 30th ranked opponent against wide receivers, and he's only $5,400. And if you look at the guy below him, I talked about D.D. Westbrook. Jacksonville's playing New Orleans. If he doesn't get Marshawn Lattimore against him who's a lockdown corner for New Orleans, he could have a big game against the 7th ranked defense against wide receivers, and he's only $5,400. Let me give you some other deep sleepers. Wide receivers I like that aren't very expensive. Both of them have injuries, so it's going to be tough for me to put them in on Sunday until I know they're healthy, and that's Courtland Sutton and Christian Kirk. Courtland Sutton is only $5,900. He's going up against a tough Tennessee defense, so you can see over here the opponent rank is high. And so I'm a little bit leery on playing Courtland Sutton because of the injury and the opponent rank, but the price is so good, $5,900, and he's having a big year. I would keep an eye on that injury situation. And the same with Christian Kirk. I tell you what, these are two good players. You're going to be drafting them for years to come in fantasy football, but they're both kind of banged up. I really like Christian Kirk's matchup. I'm going to try to get him in on every team if I can. He plays against a weak Atlanta defense, which meets our criteria at 4 o'clock on Sunday. And he's going up against the 32nd ranked pass defense against wide receivers. So him, Larry Fitzgerald, should be people you should be looking at going against Atlanta. And the price of $5,600 is great. So let's go take a look at some tight ends that might help us in week 6 to win some money. Okay, here we are back on rtsports.com. We're looking at tight ends here, and some of the tight ends we're looking at are different from wide receivers, quarterbacks, and running backs. Why? Because there's so few good ones. So we're going to limit it to our top 5 tight ends. You know, Travis Kelce, Austin Hooper, Will Dissly, Zach Ertz, George Kittle. I like Mark Andrews, but there's a big fall off after that. I mean, I kind of like Gerald Everett this week. He's moving up our boards. But, I mean, let's limit it to our top 5, because after you get, Mark Andrews is hurt. I like him, but he's got this foot-shoulder thing going on, so I'm not even sure he's going to play. So you might want to keep an eye on that situation, because if he doesn't play, Hayden Hurst is somebody you want in your lineup, because he's going to get 5 or 6 balls. He's Mark Andrews' backup tight end in Baltimore. But let's just keep it to these 5 guys. If we can get one of these 5 guys on our team, I'd feel really good about it and fit him into our salary. So let's head back over to FanDuel and check it out. Okay, here we are back on FanDuel. Poof, just like that. Okay, these are the guys we're looking at here. Travis Kelce, it's their top five's our top five. They've got Mark Andrews in there, like I told you, but as you can see here, he's kind of got this shoulder injury, foot injury thing going on. May not play. Hayden Hurst may be a sneaky play if Mark Andrews doesn't play. He plays Sunday against a terrible Cincinnati defense. They'll give up a lot of points to tight end, but that's who Baltimore throws the ball to, mostly tight ends. So let's start up here. Travis Kelce, as you can see, he's going up against a difficult Houston defense, but they do have one of the highest over-unders at 55, so it meets that criteria. The opponent ranks tough. Houston has great linebackers. I'm pretty sure they can guard Travis Kelce and maybe keep him out of the end zone, which would be tough. If you're going to take a tight end and you're going to pay $7,500, you're going to need 21 points. If he doesn't get in the end zone, he ain't getting 21 points. So let's take a look at some guys that have good matchups against poor defenses against tight ends. Clearly, you can see this is a tough matchup. Zach Ertz, Philadelphia playing against Minnesota. He's only getting 10 points a week. We'd have to get 18, 19 points out of him. The opponent defense here, though, is good. Minnesota is 18th ranked against tight ends, so I can highly suggest maybe he's somebody I would consider taking. Same thing with George Kittle, who's below him. He plays the Los Angeles Rams. He's going up against the 16th ranked defense against tight ends. His price is perfect, but the guy you got to look at is this guy here, Austin Hooper. He's going up against the 32nd ranked defense and the Arizona Cardinals. This guy's got to be on my team. His price is right at $6,400. He's averaging 13 points a week. I think he gets in the end zone. They play Sunday at 4 o'clock, and his salary is only $6,400, so I do like him. And the last guy I'm going to mention to you is down here is Will Dissly. He's playing Sunday against Cleveland, and Cleveland gives up a lot of points to tight ends, always have. He's averaging about 12, 13 points a week, and the opponent rank is 26th. So that's where we need it to be, and the price is right at $6,000. These are two top five guys. We got to get them on our lineup. So when we come back, we're going to try to figure out how to get our defenses that we like into our lineup with all these guys we just mentioned. Okay, we're here talking defenses in week 6 of the NFL. So here we are back looking at the spread, the point spread on some of the games. What you want to do looking for a defense is you want a defense where the points total is low. Where are those games? Look at the Redskins and Dolphins right here. You got the Saints and Jags are kind of low, but I really like these games down here, the Titans, Broncos, and my favorite is the Chargers against the Steelers and his backup quarterback. Can't go wrong there. The kid's never started a game in his career. He's a rookie. Pittsburgh struggling. So that's probably my number one defense. But you got to look at the point totals. I do like the Steelers-Chargers game. I do like the Titans-Broncos game. And I do like the Redskins-Dolphins game because they're two pretty poor teams playing. So let's see where RT Sports has those guys ranked. Okay, here we are back on RT Sports. We'd like to thank them for helping us with this video that we're making today. Shout out to Jeff Parr and the boys. But we're looking at defenses that they ranked as their top defenses. And as you can see, the New England Patriots game, which the New England's probably the top defense every week because they are the best and they have this incredibly weak schedule, but they've already played, so we can't use them. The Cowboy game, like I said, against the Jets, the Jets are getting back their starting quarterback, but you could take the Cowboys and expect to get some points. But my favorite right here, I'm not doing Baltimore because the point spread's too high. It's 48, the over-under. That's high. I can't get involved in a game where the over-under is 48. But this is the game right here. You want the Chargers. They're a top 5 defense. You could save. They're expensive, but you should never go into these FanDuel things with a defense that's not going to get you any points. I've been using the Patriots a lot, but because they play on Thursday night, I've been getting 15 to 25 points every week. So I've learned to take a good defense. So I highly recommend the Chargers. I can definitely possibly recommend the Broncos, although I like the Chargers more. And if you need a deep sleeper and you're going to have to save money somewhere and you're probably going to try to do it on defense, well, it's the Washington Redskins, who are really cheap on FanDuel. So let's go take a look and see where these guys are and how we're going to fit them into our salary cap for week 6 of the NFL. So let's head back to FanDuel and check it out. Okay, here we are back on FanDuel, and just like we talked about, some of the top recommendations from RT Sports are the ones that FanDuel wants the most money for. Dallas Cowboys here. Clearly the opponent ranked the Jets, who are terrible up to this point without their starting quarterback, 31st. Salary's kind of high. I definitely recommend Dallas Cowboys. But the guy I really like, the team I really like, is the Chargers, playing on Sunday night at 8 o'clock. Opponent rank, Pittsburgh is 9th. Doesn't really meet our criteria, but you got to understand they're starting a rookie quarterback on prime time. And his name's Hodges, and I just can't see him having a big game against that pass rush. This could get ugly. So that's who I'm recommending at $5,000. And as you can see, the Titans and the Broncos, RT Sports liked, and I like too, because the over-under is only like 40, 41 points. And you can see the opponent ranks here 22nd and 14th, and the salary's pretty good. But let's take a look at our sleeper that might help you in week 6. Okay, here we are looking at our sleeper pick on defense on FanDuel in week 6 of the NFL season. And it's clearly here the Washington Redskins are playing at Miami Sunday at 1 o'clock. They're not averaging a ton of points, but they're going up against the worst ranked offense in the league against defenses, and they're only $4,200. So I do think Miami Dolphins will score some points, but there's a better chance that the Redskins, who do have a decent defense as far as pass rush, I think they're going to get to them. And for $4,200, if you need to save money because you went high on quarterback, that's usually where you're going to spend the extra money, I'd have to go with possibly the Washington Redskins. So let's see how we could fit these guys into our lineup in week 6. Okay, we told you who we like. The question is, how do we get all these guys in our FanDuel lineup? Well, here it is. As you can see, we have Gardner Minshew, Aaron Jones, Mark Ingram, Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, DJ Chark, Austin Hooper, and the Los Angeles Chargers defense. All these guys fit all of our criteria. They're all in the top 10 or top 5 of their respective positions, so we can use them. So what we have here is our flex position left right here, and a money available, which is around $6,000. See, we don't have 61, we have 6,000. So one of the players we like was Will Dissly. We could put him in there. Other players we like at this point, if he's healthy, I like Christian Kirk at $5,600 and Larry Fitzgerald at $5,600. We're going to go with Will Dissly, and this is my lineup that I plan on using as one of my lineups. Let me show you another one that may work for you. This lineup here, I upgraded right here at my quarterback. Not everybody's going to want to put in Gardner Minshew down there against New Orleans and Jacksonville. The over-under in the Cardinals versus the Falcons game is 51.5. So if I put in Kyler Murray, I've got Aaron Jones, Mark Ingram, all the same guys that I had in before. I had to decrease my defense because I got my quarterback. I raised the price, so I had to come down here and decrease my defense. And I can still have about the same 6,000. But because I have Kyler Murray in here, I have to stack him with somebody on the same team. So I think it's clear that I have to go with Larry Fitzgerald or Christian Kirk. And until I hear Christian Kirk's playing, I think the only thing I can do is put Larry Fitzgerald in here. And I still have about $500, $400 to spend if I want to upgrade somewhere else. And let me give you one more lineup before we call it a day. If you really want to upgrade your quarterback, like I said, we got Matt Ryan in here. That's a really big upgrade from Gardner Minshew and Kyler Murray, in my opinion. But he is a top 5 quarterback according to RT Sports. If you look right here, RT Sports, Matt Ryan's number 4. So that's a good deal, where Kyler Murray's number 7 and Gardner Minshew's number 10. So we have Matt Ryan in here with all the same players. We had to decrease our defense once again, and we only got $5,600 to spend. So once again, I'm stuck with the same guys. I'm probably going Christian Kirk, but until I find out he's playing, I'm going to put Larry Fitzgerald in there, and that's going to be my lineup. So that's it for this week. I'd like to thank companies like RT Sports and FanDuel for helping me put this together. If you get a chance and you watch this video, please subscribe or even like us on Facebook. That helps us do these things. And I want to wish you the best of luck, because if you're going to play on FanDuel, playing in tournaments is kind of being like in a lottery. I win a lot more money on the 50-50s, and you should probably consider that too. So I'm Buster Brown. The website is fantasyfootballredemptionrehab.com. Good luck.